Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Today, you and I are going to be practicing and learning and reviewing how to add numbers on an open number line. So let's go watch our visual learning video to get us warmed up.
Find 481 plus 122. Use an open number line. One way to solve is to show jumps by hundreds, tens, and ones. What number is shown first on the open number line? Why is this number shown first? 481 is shown first on the open number line because it is the greater of the two addends. Then each part of 122 is added on, starting from 481. Why is it helpful to use an open number line to add like this? The number line helps you keep track of the numbers you have added. You can break apart one of the addends into smaller numbers so it is easier to add mentally.
Let's try it. Drag the slider to see the steps to add 481 plus 122. So first, we start at 481 on the number line. And then we make a jump of 100 because there's 100 in 122. Then we add the 10 because there's a 10 in 22. In fact, there's going to be two 10s, so we're going to add another 10. And then we have to add our ones, and there's two ones. So we make one jump, two jumps, and we land on 603.
Another way to add 481 and 122 is to make bigger jumps. 122 is broken apart in a different way. How are the two ways of adding similar?
Well, both ways, we're still adding the same amount, and we're still starting at 481, and we also still end up at the same answer. It's just a different way to show the work. So one way, we break it down into 100, 110, 110, 1, and 1, whereas the other way, we do the hundreds, and then we do the tens, and then we do the ones. It's just a different way to add it up on the number line, but the same answer, same starting spot, and same amount that we've added.
Both ways show using an open number line to solve 481 plus 122. The first number shown on the open number line is 481. Then 122 is added. How are the two ways different?
One way is adding smaller numbers, and the other way is adding bigger.
122 is broken apart in different ways. The second way uses bigger jumps on the open number line. Do both ways show the same sum?
Select your answer.
Yes, they do, because both times we start at 481, and both ways we add 122, and both ways we're going to get the same answer, 603.
Yes, both ways show that the sum of 481 plus 122 is 603.
Both ways are correct.
Now you know how to add using an open number line.
Okay, let's hop on those workbooks and do some practice. Okay, our guided practice is going to be on page 592. So go ahead and turn in your workbook to page 592 and make sure you have your pencil. And then when you're ready, you can unpause me and we'll go ahead and do these guided practice problems. So both times we're going to use an open number line to find each sum. Now it's been a little while, but remember the sum is the answer to an addition problem, okay? So we're doing 375 plus 118. Now remember with addition, you can start with either addend, either number that you're adding up, but it's going to be a lot less work if you start at the bigger number, because then we only have to add 118. Now, if we start at 118, we're going to have to add 375, and that is going to be a lot more work. You might even run out of room on your number line. So we're going to start our number line at 375. Now, you can do this a couple different ways to add up your numbers. It's up to you if you want to do small numbers or chunks, but let's do it the way that they tried this one. They looked at the hundreds place first, and they saw that there's 100, so they made a jump of 100. And we know that 375 plus 100, well, 3 plus 1 is 4, so 300 plus 100 is 400. So 375 plus 100 is 475. And then they looked in the tens place and they saw that there's 1 10. So they made one jump of 10. And they said 7 tens plus one more is 8 tens. So 475 plus 10 is 485. And then they looked at the ones place and there's 8 ones. They could have done this in a couple different ways. They could have done 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 and done it 8 times. They could have done one big jump of 8. But what they did is they looked at where they were on the number line and they said, well, we're at 485. And I know that 85 plus 5 is 90. So they did a jump of 5 first. And they said 485 plus 5 is 490. And then if we had 8 ones, we only have to add 3 more. So then they just did a jump of 3. And 90 plus 3 is 93. So 493 is 4. So 490 is 493. So many numbers. So they broke it down in a little bit different way than maybe you or I would have done it, but it really doesn't matter, you guys. As long as you add the correct amount and you start at the right place, you'll get the same answer. Let's look at number 2. I almost said let's look at 670. We don't have that many problems. So for this one, we're doing 670 plus 232. So let's start at the bigger number, 670. Remember, you have to label the different spots on your number line. Each time you make a jump, make sure you label the jump and label the spot that you land on. Okay, that's showing your work in these problems. Now we have 200s to add in 232. So we could do one big jump of 200, or we could do 2 jumps of 100. I think we should do 2 jumps of 100. So I'm going to make 2 jumps, 2 big jumps, 1 and 2, and now I'm going to label them. This is 100, and this is 100. So I made 2 jumps of 100. Now 670 plus 100. Well, I know 6 plus 1 is 7, so 600 plus 100 would be 700. So it'd be 770. Remember, only my hundreds place changes when I add 100. And then 7 plus 1 is 8, so 770 plus 100 would be 870. So now I've added my 2 hundreds. Now I need to add 3 tens. And again, I can do 3 jumps of 10, or I can do 1 jump of 30. Either way, I'm going to do 3 jumps of 10 just to keep it nice and easy. So 1, 2, 3. And this is 10. This is 10. And this is 10. Now I know 7 tens plus 1 more would be 8 tens. So this would be 880. Got to make my numbers a little smaller here. 8 tens plus 1 more 10 would be 9 tens. So this is 890. Now here's where it gets a little bit tricky. We're at 890 plus 10 more. Well, 90 plus 10 is 100, so we have to do a little regrouping here. 890 plus 10 is not in the 800s anymore. Instead, we've landed on 900. And then last, we have to do our ones. We just have 2 ones, so I'm just going to make a jump of 2. And 900 plus 2 is 902. That is our answer. And I also forgot to write our answer for number 1, so we got to go back and do that. So 902 for number 2, and we got 493 for number 1. Okay, we're going to watch one more quick video to help us practice.
You can add numbers in different ways. One cool way is to use an open number line. An open number line lets you make jumps from one number to another by ones, tens, or hundreds, or basically any amount you want. Let's use an open number line to add these 2 numbers, 342 and 117. We'll start with 342. We need to add 117, so let's break it apart. If we add 100, we get 442. If we add 10 more, we're at 452. And if we add the last 7, where are we? Yes, 459. So 342 plus 117 equals 459. By breaking apart the second addend, we were able to use an open number line to get the answer. That was so easy, right? Great work.
Okay, let's get some more practice in our workbook. Let's go ahead and turn that page. And we're going to do number 3 together. So grab your pencil. We're doing 278 plus 152. So again, you could start at 152, or you could start at 278. You can add up numbers either way, it doesn't matter. But with an open number line, it's going to be less work if you start at the bigger number. So I'm going to start at 278. And I see there's 100, so I'm going to make one jump of 100. And I know 2 plus 1 is 3, so 278 plus 100 will be 378. And then I see that there's 5 tens. Now, I don't know off the top of my head what 78 plus 50 is, so I am going to do some smaller jumps. I'm going to do 5 jumps of tens. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And each one of those is 10. And I always label all of my jumps just so I don't forget what I'm doing or make a mistake. Because if I have it written down and then I do the math, I know I'm not going to make a mistake if I can see what number I'm adding without having to think of it just in my head. So 7 tens plus 1 is 8, so 388. Ooh, there we go. 8 tens plus 1 would be 9, so 398. Okay, now I know that I am really close to 400. At 398. So I know that I'm going to cross over into the 400s when I add 10 more. So 39 tens or 390 plus one more 10 would be 40 tens or 400. So my next number is going to be 408. Now, if you haven't noticed that before, ladies and gents, look at this. 37 tens, 38 tens, 39 tens, 40 tens. That's always a great way to think about your tens when you're adding them. If you're getting close to going into the next 100, that always helps me think about how to regroup it. And then 0 plus 110 would be 418. And then 110 plus one more 10 is 2 tens, so that becomes 428. Ooh, 28, there we go. And now we just have our 2 ones. So I'm going to go plop. 2. And I know 8 plus 2 is 10, so 28 plus 2 is 30, which means we're landed on 430. That is our answer. So I'm going to write it up here. I'm not going to forget this time. 430. Okay, take a peek at number 4. Go ahead and do number 4. Show all your work, all your jumps, and all the numbers that you jump onto, and then come back to me when you have your answer. Okay. 637 plus 244, I'm going to start at 637. So 637, because that's my bigger number. I see 200, so I'm going to make 2 jumps of 100. So 1 and 2. This is 100, and this one is 100. And I know 6 plus 1 is 7, so 600 plus 100 is 737 for this guy. And then 7 plus 1 is 8, so this is 837. Okay, and then I have 4 tens, so I'm going to make 4 jumps of 10. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I know 3 tens plus 1 is 4, so this one is 847. I'm just writing it down here because I've got more space. And then 4 tens plus 1 more is 5, so that's 857. Remember, I'm only changing the place value of what I'm adding. Oh, and I forgot. So I'm adding tens right here, you guys. So if I'm adding a 10, most of the time, unless I'm in the 90s already, only my tens place is going to change in my number. And since I'm adding 110, my tens are going to increase by 110. So if I'm at 857, 1 more than 5 is 6. So this is going to be 867. If I'm at 867, my 6 is going to increase by 1 and become 877. Okay. And then I have 2 ones to add. So jump at 2, 2. Ooh, there we go. So 7 plus 2 is 9. So 877 plus 2 would be 879. That is my answer. Easy peasy. Just take some practice, you guys, but it is the same thing when we have 3-digit numbers as it is when we have 2-digit numbers. You just have to add a hundreds place and the tens and the ones. Let's go down and do number 7. Okay, number 7 says Lisa finds 550 plus 298 using the open number line below. So this is her work down here. Is her work correct? Explain. Now I want you to look at it for about 10 seconds and think, how could it be correct? Don't just think, oh, was it wrong? But think, how could she might have done it correctly? Now, what do you think? Do you think it's correct? Or do you think she did it incorrectly? Let's check it. Let's look. So she had to add 298 and she had to start at 550. She starts at 550. Let's see what she added. 100, 200, 300. But then did you guys see this? She added 300, but then she took away 2. What is 300 minus 2? It's 298. So she actually did do it correctly. She just did it this way because she knew that it would be easier to add 3 hundreds and take away 2 ones than it would be to add 2 hundreds, 9 tens, and 8 ones, because that would be a lot more work, right? So you guys, this is definitely something you can do when you're doing your number lines if you're using it for addition. Now you have to be really careful and make sure that you're taking away the correct amount, but what she did is completely correct. So let's write out what we think and why. So I'm going to say yes, 300 minus 2 equals 298, because that's the math that she did on her number line. And I'm going to say Lisa counted on 300 on her number line to get to 850, and then she took away 2, and her answer was 848. Okay. So I just wrote out what she did and explained why I know that what she did is correct. Let's turn that page and do a couple more problems. Okay, you're going to do number 8. Let's see what it says. Jose has 181 cards. I'm going to underline those. I always like to underline the numbers when I'm reading a word problem. He collects 132 more, adding more. How many cards does he have now? So you are going to do an addition problem. See how many cards he has. Use the number line to do your work and come back to me when you have your answer. Make sure you pause me. Pause me now. Go do your work. Okay. You ready? So our problem is 181, whoa, big 8, plus 132. My numbers are crazy today. There we go. So I'm going to start at 181 on my number line because it is the biggest number. So 181, and I see that he added 100. So I'm going to make a jump of 100. I know that 1 plus 1 is 2, so 100 plus 100 is 200, so 181 plus 100 is 281. Only my hundreds place changed by 1 because I added 100. And then there's 3 tens, so I'm going to make 3 jumps of 10. 1, 2, and 3. 10, 10, and 10. Oh, that's a weird 10. There we go. 8 plus 1 is 9, so this becomes 291. Ooh, I'm right near 300, so I'm going to look at my tens here. I have 29 tens plus 1 more becomes 30 tens, and then my ones place didn't change. So 291 plus 10 is 301. Now I have 0 tens plus 1 becomes 311, because 1 plus 10 is 11. And then I just need to add my 2 ones. So 2, and I know that 11 plus 2 is 13, so 311 plus 2 is 313. So he had 181 cards, he got 132 more. That means he has a total of 313 cards. Great job. Okay, we're going to come down here and do number 10 together. Let's see what it says. Use open number lines to find 446 plus 215 in 2 different ways. Different, you can't do the same thing twice. So we're going to use these 2 number lines and we're going to show our work in 2 different ways. So both times I'm going to start at 446 because that's the bigger number. Now I know one way to do it is to add 100 plus 100 plus 10 and then plus my ones. So I'm going to do that way first because that's one way. So 100 and then another 100. So 100 because there's 200s and 215. Okay. So 4 plus 1 is 5, which means this is 546. 5 plus 1 is 6, so this is 646. Now I've added my hundreds, and then I have 1 10 to add, so 1 jump of 10. I have 4 10s, plus 1 more is 5 10s, so this is 656. And then I just have to add my 5 1s. So I'm just going to make one big jump of 5. Now I could have split that up into 1s, or I could have split it into 4 and 1. I could have split up in any way I wanted to. I'm just going to do a jump of 5. I can do 56 plus 5. I know that 56 plus 4 is 60, so 1 more would be 61. So that means 656 plus 5 is 661. And you guys, you can do it in lots of different ways, whichever way you feel most comfortable with. So my answer is 661 for this way. Now, if I have to do this another way, another easy way to do it would be to jump my hundreds all in one big jump. So I'm going to do that. I'm still going to start at 446. And I'm going to make a big jump, and it's going to be worth 200 because I'm doing both hundreds at the same time. And I know 4 plus 2 is 6, so 400 plus 200 is 600. So when I add my 200s, I'm still going to land on 646, just like I did over here. And now I could do my 10. I'm still just going to do my 10 by itself. And we know that 646 plus 10 is 656. And then I'm going to do something a little bit different with my 1s. I'm going to add 4 and then 1, and I'll explain why here in just a second. So 4 and 1. I have to add 5 1s, so 4 plus 1 is 5 1s. But the reason I'm breaking it into 4 and 1 is because I'm at 656, and I know that 6 plus 4 is a 10. So if I make a 10, it's a little bit easier to work with. So I can do 56 plus 4 is 60. So 656 is 660. I'm just doing a little bit easier. And then if I add 1 more, that would be 661. Basically what I did last time, but this time I wrote it out on my number line instead of just kind of saying it out loud when I was working through it. But both times we still land on 661. So remember, you guys, there's lots of ways to do your work on a number line. You can add it up in different ways, however you are most comfortable with, but just make sure you're starting at the right number and you're adding the correct amount. And of course, doing your addition right. Let's look at number 11, and then you're going to solve it. Mary uses an open number line to find 286 plus 137. All of the jumps she draws are greater than 1. Draw what Mary could have done. Write the sum. So here's what you're going to do, friends. Every jump that you have to do on here has to be bigger than just 1 1. So you can't make a jump of 1 like we did up here. It has to be something bigger. So it could be a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 10, 100, anything like that. But see if you can add 137 to 286 without making any jumps of just 1. And then write your sum down here and come back to me when you're all done. Okay, let's try it out. So I'm going to start at 286. And I'm going to add 100, and 100 is greater than 1, so I can do that. And I know 2 plus 1 is 3, so this becomes 386. And then we have 3 10s, so I'm going to make 3 jumps of 10. 10 is bigger than 1, so I can do that. So 10, 10, and 10. 8 plus 1 is 9, so this is 396. I'm right at 400, so I know that 39 10s plus 1 more would be 40 10s, so this becomes 406 for this next jump. And then 0 10s plus 1 is 110, so this is 416. And now I just have my 1s left, and I know that I can't do 1 1 1 1 1 7 times. I have to do something different. I don't know what 416 plus 7 is off the top of my head, so I'm going to do 416 plus 4, because I can do that in my head. I know 16 plus 4 is 20, so 416 plus 4 is 420. And then because I added 4, I still have to add 3 more, so I'm going to make a jump of 3. And I know that 20 plus 3 is 23, so 420 plus 3 is 423. That is her answer. Nicely done, you guys. Great job, friends. Good work with those number lines. It's the same thing as what we've done before, just with bigger numbers, so I know that you can do it. Let's go look at your homework for today. Okay, so today, back in your workbooks, the only problems you have to do are numbers 5, 6, and 9, and then make sure you do your quick check. And after that, go spend some time on Math Facts Pro, or if you're in my class, today is an iReady day, 20 minutes on there. I will see you again back here tomorrow, friends.